Borders aren't just lines on a map, they're the front lines of control in authoritarian regimes. Smugglers have always defied these lines, but what if the things they sneak in aren't just drugs or weapons? What if they're ideas, symbols, or even people themselves? Today we'll uncover 10 real-life examples of the strangest, most audacious items ever smuggled into authoritarian countries. From sacred letters to forbidden music, these stories will make you rethink what it means to risk everything. Stay with us until the end, because number 1 might just chill you to the bone. Number 10. A letter from the Pope. In 1978, Poland was under the iron fist of communist rule. The government, intent on suppressing dissent and controlling the narrative, sought to stifle the voice of the Catholic Church. But when a letter from Pope John Paul II was smuggled into the country, it sparked more than just religious devotion, it ignited a movement. The Pope's message, which encouraged hope, faith, and the pursuit of human dignity, resonated deeply with a populace weary of oppression. Imagine the risk involved. Underground networks of priests and laypeople passing this letter hand to hand, each knowing the heavy price of discovery. If caught, they faced imprisonment, torture, or worse. But the desire for freedom outweighed their fear. The Pope's words became a rallying cry, inspiring solidarity and resistance against the regime, ultimately leading to the rise of the Solidarity movement in the 1980s. Number 9. The Lithuanian language. In the late 19th century, when the Russian Empire sought to suppress Lithuanian identity, it banned the use of the Lithuanian language in printed materials, viewing it as a threat to national unity. But Lithuanians weren't willing to let their heritage die quietly. In a remarkable display of resilience, they began smuggling books, newspapers, and dictionaries into the country, keeping their language alive in defiance of the Tsar's edicts. These book smugglers faced immense dangers. Arrest, imprisonment, and severe penalties loomed large. With each hidden volume, they risked everything, knowing that literature and language are powerful weapons against oppression. As these books circulated among the people, they not only preserved the Lithuanian language, but also fueled a sense of national pride, sowing the seeds for independence movements that would blossom in the 20th century. Number 8. A new national anthem. In Myanmar, the military government has long sought to suppress dissent, and music that stirs national pride can be more dangerous than bullets. In 2018, a new national anthem for the Rohingya, an oppressed Muslim minority, was banned by the government. Despite this, smugglers took it upon themselves to bring recordings of the anthem into the country, risking severe repercussions for themselves and their families. Imagine the clandestine gatherings of Rohingya people, singing this anthem in whispered tones, the lyrics a powerful symbol of identity and resistance against the oppressive regime. Each note carried the weight of their struggles, the promise of unity and hope for a future free from persecution. The government's response? Brutal crackdowns, but the anthem had already taken root in the hearts of the people, resonating as a testament to their enduring spirit. Number 7. The Beatles records. In the Soviet Union, rock and roll was considered a form of capitalist brainwashing, a direct threat to the ideological purity of the state. The Beatles, with their messages of love and freedom, were viewed as a corrupting force on the youth, but that didn't stop fans from risking their freedom to smuggle Beatles records into the country. Smugglers found ingenious ways to hide the music, pressing it onto old X-rays, creating bone records that could be easily concealed. The thrill of listening to forbidden tunes, the camaraderie it fostered among fans, and the sheer rebellion of it all turned these smuggled records into prized possessions. For the Soviet youth, the music was a lifeline, a connection to a world of freedom and expression that the regime sought to suppress. Number 6. Bibles. China's relationship with religion has always been complicated, especially under communist rule where any ideology competing with state doctrine is viewed with suspicion. In the 1990s, religious texts, particularly Christian ones, were heavily censored, but smugglers took it upon themselves to bring the teachings of Christianity into China, often at great personal risk. Imagine the tension of clandestine meetings, where individuals exchange not just Bibles, but hope and faith in a land where belief could mean imprisonment. These smugglers transported not only scriptures, but also icons and religious artifacts, fueling underground churches that defied state control. In homes, these texts inspired secret gatherings, where whispers of faith could be shared, and lives transformed against the backdrop of oppression. Number 5. Squid Game. In North Korea, foreign media is strictly forbidden, especially when it critiques authoritarian regimes. But in 2021, the South Korean TV show Squid Game made its way into North Korea illegally. The show's depiction of wealth inequality, survival, and the moral dilemmas of capitalism struck a chord in a country where the ruling class lived lavishly while the common people struggled. Smugglers who brought in USB drives loaded with the series risked execution. These drives became hot commodities, and those who managed to obtain one gathered in secret to watch the show. Eyes glued to screens, they experienced a world vastly different from their own. The impact was profound. The show opened discussions about injustice, class struggle, and even sparked dreams of rebellion against the oppressive system. Number 4. The Internet. What happens when an entire country is cut off from the internet? In nations like North Korea, where the state controls everything citizens see and hear, the stakes are high. But in 2018, ingenious smugglers devised ways to sneak in the internet itself. Using satellite connections, flash drives, and modified smartphones, they brought limited access to global information to those desperate for knowledge. Imagine the thrill of connection, families huddled around screens, discovering the world beyond their borders. For many, accessing information that challenged state propaganda was revolutionary. This act of defiance didn't just change lives, it threatened the very foundation of the regime, as the population began to question the narratives fed to them, leading to a subtle but undeniable shift in consciousness. Number 3. Computer chips. In 2021, China found itself at the center of a global chip shortage, exacerbated by the ongoing trade wars. But within the country, strict government control over technology led to a different kind of smuggling: computer chips. These microchips, vital for everything from cars to smartphones, became highly sought after contraband. Smugglers employed elaborate methods to transport these tiny but invaluable pieces of technology, using hidden compartments in vehicles and body implants to evade detection. With each chip successfully smuggled in, they provided not just economic benefit, but also a lifeline to innovation and technological progress in a controlled environment. This underground network grew, creating a shadow economy that directly challenged the government's attempts to monopolize technology. Number 2. Philosophies. Ideas can be more dangerous than weapons, especially for totalitarian regimes that seek to control not just actions, but thoughts. During the Cold War, philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Friedrich Nietzsche were banned in many authoritarian states. Their writings considered threats to state ideology, yet intellectuals risked their lives to smuggle in these banned books. Each shipment of philosophy carried the potential to ignite minds, fostering critical thinking and the questioning of authority. Secret gatherings took place in hidden libraries and basements, where readers gathered to discuss the revolutionary ideas within those pages. The consequences of being caught were severe, yet the thirst for knowledge and freedom propelled these intellectual rebels forward, changing the course of history one smuggled book at a time. Number 1. Corpses. Finally, we arrive at the most chilling smuggling case of all: corpses. In countries where death is politicized, even the dead aren't safe. In North Korea, it's been reported that bodies of defectors who died abroad have been smuggled back into the country by their families. The government forbids their return, fearing the spread of dissent and the potential for martyrdom. Imagine the desperate lengths families go to, risking everything to bring their loved ones home, even in death. Smuggling corpses is fraught with danger, involving clandestine operations and heart-wrenching decisions. Each successful return is not just an act of love, but a powerful statement against a regime that seeks to control life and death itself. These acts remind us that even in the face of tyranny, the bond of family and the desire for dignity can defy even the strictest of laws. In authoritarian countries, the stakes are higher and the risks greater. Smuggling isn't just a means to an end, it's a fight for freedom, identity, and sometimes for the soul itself. From letters and music to the internet and even the dead, these 10 cases show just how far people will go to defy control. What would you risk to bring a piece of the forbidden into your world? If you found this dive into the world of rebellious smuggling fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends and family. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, remember to stay curious. We'll see you in the next video.